Hi, I'm Shad.
And I'm Tam.
We're Forever Honeymooners.
Welcome back. Well, let's just get right into it. Number 7.
Number 7, money is the number one reason for divorce.
The number one reason for divorce. We don't want to get divorced for any reason, but do we really want it to be money? Of course not. Number 6.
Number 6, unity and communication.
Unity and communication. I mean, how in the world can you get anywhere with anything unless you talk about it and you're on the same page? Money, already being the number one reason for divorce, can be a big issue. But we already know when you're unified on the subject and you can talk about it, then you can have peace and bliss in the midst of whatever problems and difficulties will come. Number 5.
Number 5, educate yourself in finance.
That's right, Shad. We've all heard the term knowledge is power. Well, the more you know about finance, the more you know about money, the more you know how to use it to your advantage. The more you can educate yourself, the more you two can be unified. This is something that you can learn together. It's like a bonding time where you get to learn how money works and how to use it. Number 4.
Number 4, live within your means. Well, live within your means is simply don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't spend more money than you can afford. Sometimes you can't get everything you want. Some of the things you want sometime, but definitely the things that you need. Debt, you really want to avoid it and have as little of it as possible. So living within your means is a great blessing.
Number 3.
Number 3, have a budget and stick to it.
That's right. We all know budgets can be hassles. But I mean really, unless you write things down, without a vision the people perish. And write the vision and make it plain. You want to make sure that when you're budgeting, you're thinking about the long run, the long haul. And we'll talk about more of that later, but keep that in mind. Make a budget and stick to it. Number 2.
Number 2, build a savings account. Well, you know, there's sometimes you have things that are unexpected in life. You may get a flat tire, or it could be anything. If you don't have cash, if you don't have money that you can go to in order to fix the problems, it's going to make life much harder. That's going to tempt you to get into debt, which I alluded to in number 4. And so by you not having cash, you want to swipe the card, and that's interest from the credit card. So, you know, that's an endless cycle of debt that you're putting yourself into, where if you had a savings account and some quick cash, you can knock those little problems out, get rid of them, and boom, back to smooth sailing again.
Absolutely. Number 1.
Number 1? Number 1, tithes and offerings.
Tithes and offerings.
Yes. And the reason we return tithes and offerings is, first of all, the tithes is not ours. Matter of fact, everything we own really belongs to God. You know, even ourselves, we belong to God. And because of his goodness and love toward us, we want to put him first. So straight off the top, we take his 10%. That's what tithe is, a tenth of your income. So you take the first 10% off the top and return it to God. And along with that, you give a faithful offering because of God's love toward us and our love in return to him. We show him that love through financial means.
That is so true, Shad. However, Shad, I want to touch on something a little bit deeper, and I'm not sure if our viewers are ready to hear it, but it's important that we say it, right?
Amen. I can't wait to hear this.
Well, when we're considering tithe and offering being an act of obedience, an act of faith, and also a gift of love and thanksgiving, we also need to consider that in talking about money as we have through these 7 points, that we're learning how to be good stewards over our finances. And that's important because where our treasure is, there will our heart be also. However, as we learn how to relate to each other with money as a married couple, and as we learn how to relate to God with money, then we begin to see an exchange between us that draws us in closer to the Lord. It makes us want to be better stewards over more than just our financial life. And so we start to search the scriptures and we start to do things in a more grounded way. And that leads me to a very important point that I want to make. In the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 17, it tells us that one day no one will be able to buy or sell unless they receive the mark of the beast or the image of the beast or the number of his name. Now these things cause for deep study. However, in talking about money, we want to make sure that as married couples, we are definitely on the same page. But when it comes to God, we want to make sure that we're doing these things so that we can really learn how to become dependent upon Him. Because Shad, if you can't buy or sell, then what in the world can you do but depend upon God for your every resource?
That's all you can do is depend upon God. You know, you won't be able to use money at this time. You know, when these things take place, you have to depend on God. But if we don't depend on Him now, we won't be able to depend on Him then. So we have to start today depending on God, even with our finances.
And so we are able to provide you with more study on what we've talked about. But in the meantime, think about this. If you're single, if you're dating, if you're engaged, or if you're married, the things that we've said, these 7 points that we've given, meditate on them, pray about them, and go forward with God.
We hope that this program has been a blessing to you. And remember that he that is faithful in little will be faithful in much. We have to remain faithful to God, even in our finances.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the countdown. You definitely want to continue to watch as we count down to preparing for marriage. Remember, we're starting a special edition of programming. If you haven't subscribed, you want to go ahead and do that now and turn on the notifications, okay? So that you'll know every time we upload a video. And Shad?
Always remember that marriage in God's hands is truly a blessing.
Amen.
Happy
honeymooning! Don't forget to tune in every Monday for Manifest Mondays with Shad, where he talks to the men about how to manifest greatness in your marriage. And it's Wise Woman Wednesdays with me, where I relay to the women how to be an awesome wife. Oh, and I almost forgot. Check out our blog, like us on Facebook, and email us because we do seminars. That's right, we can come to your church or facility and conduct a Forever Honeymooners seminar. Again, thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to hearing from you. Happy honeymooning!